It's time once again for another thrilling episode of Markout Radio. For the next hour, sit back, pull the stick out of your ass, and enjoy. Be warned though, smarks and internet know-it-alls will be offended, annoyed, and generally pissed off at what's about to happen to your ear holes. You've been warned. Now, Markout Radio.
Every week it's something new. This week the audio wasn't working on the first deal. There we go. We got it out of the gate now. YouTube will never know. Podcast will never know. Just you lovely Twitch viewers will know. And you're only going to know as long as it's left up there, which I kind of feel like leaving it up there just to show how fucked I am in the head. All right. Rocket Radio Goes Nitro episode 73 for February the 3rd, 1997 of the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee. Hosted by Tony Schiavone, Larry Zbyszko, Mike Today, and Bobby the Brain Heenan. This week, Eric was announced as going into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2021. And I love the picture they used. The height of Ken doll, leather jacket wearing Bischoff. Just, oh, so good. So good. All right. This is the 34th ratings win in a row for Nitro with a 3.1 to Raw's 2.6. For those of you paying attention at home, Nitro went down and Raw went up. Clearly a direct result of last week's steaming pile of shit show. Hopefully this week WCW can pull their nose up on their garbage booking. I mean, to be fair, and I'm not often fair, especially when it comes to Sullivan and Bischoff, but to be fair, they had a big show in the Clash, followed by Sold Out, followed by Nitro, all on-air shows with the same booking staff that normally just builds to one pay-per-view a month and does a single show a week. I mean, it was still objectively a dumpster fire of a fucking show last week. It was basically a fuck you to wrestling fans that have kind of gotten on board with WCW and started to bail on WWE, or WWF, I guess, at the time, but Jesus Christ, last week was bad. So it's not going to be really hard to pull the nose up from last week. I mean, see, I say that now, but I feel like in 99 and 2000, we're going to prove that wrong. There are 8,173 people at tonight's sold-out show with 6,946 who actually paid to be there. The gate was 77,128 and kicks off with a Hogan promo.
Hogan hours suck.
Thank you, Big T. I think the point here was that it's Hogan Piper in the main event tonight. The promo was longer than any other match of the night and was less entertaining than the Mongo Jarrett match. I mean, I know that doesn't sound nice, but are you telling me that it was actually good? What? That's what I thought. Back from break, Tony and Larry recap what just happened and explains how all this came to pass on other shows so that you're up to date on what's happening on your live Nitro episode. I just can't make this shit up. First match of the night is Ultimo Dragon with Sonny Ono defeating Ray Mendoza Jr. in 3 minutes, 13 seconds. 2.5 out of 5 for that one from Markout Radio. Ray Mendoza Jr. wearing a Muscle Max chopped up shirt. And at first I thought this was something for his gimmick or some sort of Mexican supplement company. I had to dig around quite a lot to find out that it was a gym franchise that Mendoza owned a stake in. They ran an awful lot like Gold's Gym, but in Mexico, they ran afoul of their government's antitrust office, which actually kind of amazed me that Mexico has an antitrust office. But anyways, they had to pay some rather large fines that were levied after they were caught taking money from some government officials' accounts years after they'd canceled their gym memberships. I guess when you reach into the government's pocket, they tend to get involved. A fairly decent job match here, but I noticed no one bothered to take Mendoza's shirt to the back like they did for Dragon. Somebody just threw it across the ring to him after the match was over. I mean, imagine being used as a jobber that the ringside staff don't even bother to gather up your fucking shitty cut up t-shirt while they gather up the Dragon's big ass fucking robe. I feel kind of bad for the guy, if I'm honest. After this, Glacier defeats Billy Kidman in 2 minutes, 8 seconds. I gave that one 3.5 out of 5. Yeah, I gave a Glacier match a decent score. And there's a reason. Tony starts off announcing this match by pointing out that Kidman is a cruiserweight. Awesome. Thank you, Tony. This actually was far from a job match. Finally, they're putting in Glacier in matches where he doesn't look like shit, although it's likely down to his opponent being Kidman. The finish here was excellent. Not just for a Glacier match, It was excellent. Full stop. Still, the pre and post match posing in the light show goes on just a little bit too long, and fans kind of sour on it after the first bow. I don't know why he's got to bow to everyone like Hogan does the fucking ear thing to everyone. See, when Hogan does the ear thing to the crowds, they're supposed to get off their asses and scream. When Glacier bows to the crowd, what are they supposed to do? Silently bow back to acknowledge him? Fuck, this isn't a sumo match. Stop. Just stop. NWO new merch vignette where you can spend Thank you. Where you can spend $80 on a black denim jacket with the NWO logo on the back. Being promoted by Ted DiBiase, trillionaire Ted, by the way, or 6. After this, the next match is Ice Train with Teddy Long in his corner defeats La Parka in 5 minutes, 15 seconds. I gave that match also 3.5 out of 5. Larry puts over Ice Train here, and I agree with everything he has to say. Ice Train is a solid mid-carder that you could do much cooler things in than toss him into random matches like they did yet again tonight. I mean, say what you will about WWE's product today, but even the low-card matches get programs. Tony sends his thoughts out to Randy Pee Wee Anderson, who he's reminding us that we all saw got shit-canned last week live on the show. La Parka had a gorgeous corkscrew plancha over the top rope. Without Mike Tenay there, though, Tony and Larry struggled to give it a name and then just concluded that it was a botched move. Awesome. Tony draws attention to the fact that La Parka came up a bit short and Train had trouble catching the cross body from the top rope, but just deadlifting La Parka up. I mean, holy that is impressive fucking shit. Like, I know that Ice Train's big, but deadlifting 240 pounds after it's flying off the top rope and missing you, that's fucking Herculean shit right there. Jesus. And it's a human body. It's not like it's a straight barbell. It's a human flabby body in motion from the top rope that Train didn't manage to catch, but also didn't let him drop and just fucking muscled it. Like, fuck, holy shit. Fucking Hercules.
You are a big mark.
Yes, I am. For Ice Train, I kind of am. We go backstage where the Outsiders have laid out Luger with pipes. And here's the thing. It wasn't actually Luger. It was a wrestler that kind of looks like him a little bit wearing his gear. Luger actually wasn't there that night. But when I looked at the footage, I'm like, Jesus, has Luger is he trying to bulk or something? His back looks all fatty. Like he's fucking diesel. Like he's cut. And here he didn't look so cut. So I kind of had to do a little digging to find out that he actually wasn't there that night. Nash is wearing a giant NWO t-shirt and Hall is wearing the new Luger t-shirt, which I thought was actually kind of funny. A little bit of a fuck you that was interesting. The Gene Rant promo here with the Horsemen. Well, Jesus. No Anderson though. Not that that's a problem really. It's just, listen, there's nothing really wrong with it. It's just I kind of wanted Anderson to be there. I know he's kind of laid up at home and shit, but I was kind of hoping that he would be there. Anyways, Gene starts with Benoit, who is a very solid, serious promo, not unlike one that Arn would have done. Woman goes next and confirms that it was indeed Jackie last week and that she's getting Woman's sloppy seconds, which, I mean, they got a pop from the Southern crowd. But if they actually had more brain cells than teeth, they would have asked themselves, isn't Benoit getting Sullivan's sloppy seconds? I mean, wasn't that what that shrieking banshee Deborah's been saying all along in her long-winded, annoying, cunty way? I mean, anyways, Tennessee wrestling mark crowd aside, Mongo then tries to take the stick, but Gene doesn't give his mic away, so he had to put a little Mongo sass on it before cutting his promo of solidarity and putting himself in as a replacement for Luger in the main event against Jeff Jarrett. Deborah gets the talk. I tuned it all out. You're welcome. You'd have to be deaf not to hear that Chris, Nancy, and Rick are getting nice pops and the McMichaels collectively get heat or ambivalence. And by the way, getting heat as a Horseman is okay. Getting ambivalence, like silence, or just like the crowd talking amongst themselves, not a good thing. Rick cuts a promo on Sullivan and Jackie to finish off the promo and continues to play up his gimmick and is very careful not to say that Woman has been to Space Mountain. He just says that she wore out his arm, which I'm just going to leave that one out there, just all naked and gross. Back from break, we recap last week where the Steiners had to relinquish the belts, leading into Harlem Heat with Sister Sherry versus the Steiner brothers, which ended in a double disqualification in 5 minutes, 2 seconds. I gave that one 3.5 out of 5. The Faces of Fear and the Public Enemy are at ringside for this match, which is great for actually building the tag division, which would be fucking great for the Outsiders because they desperately need teams to face. Stevie Ray doesn't put over Rick's dog run around the ring and stiff shots his headpiece right off his goddamn head. Booker T, though, does put over Rick, catching him mid-leap and slamming him to the mat with an oversold slam. I guess not really an Alabama slam so much as he kind of caught him up through the legs and around the legs and slammed them. But either way, Booker sold the shit out of it. The Faces of Fear come in and go after the Steiners and then turn on the Heat. Public Enemy comes in, nails the Heat first, but then goes after the Steiners. And then it's a Donnybrook where everyone fights everyone while the ref calls for a double DQ. The ending gets huge heat from the live crowd, which is awesome for the heat that they're trying to build in the tag division. Solid all around. The match itself only gets a 3.5 out of 5 because essentially Stevie Ray was not performing at all. And this match is designed to put out of the division that he's fucking in. So the least he could do is actually sell the goddamn match. Glorious. It is not glorious. Turn that. No. That is not glorious. It's the absolute fucking opposite of it. And you know, producer asshole, that again, YouTube has struck one of our videos for exactly this song. And again, Twitch and Anchor have done absolutely nothing to do anything about us using fair use of the fucking song, whereas YouTube, or FuckTube as I've started to call them in the show notes, have gone ahead and just taken monetization off the table for yet another video. And by the way, when they do that, it's a month's worth of monetization. Keep watching them. I don't give a flying fuck. We don't get enough views to actually put it over anyways. Back from break, we start hour 2, recapping the night so far. Dean Malenko defeats Mike Enos in a match after that. The longest match of the night, 7 minutes, 9 seconds. I gave that one 3 out of 5. Enos just keeps getting fatter. His arms keep getting smaller, and no amount of tanning is able to hide it. Still, he wrestles well enough in this longest match of the night. Six comes through the crowd and down to the ring where he steals the Cruiserweight title. Malenko is made aware of it after the match ends. And, who can tell? I guess he's upset. I don't know. Mr. fucking Personality here strikes again. He should be pissed off. Maybe run into the crowd and try to catch Six. Instead, he just pirouettes around the ring looking like a confused puppy. Am I a wrestler or am I a fucking amoeba? Here's the thing. Malenko is undeniably a great wrestler, but he's a garbage fucking worker. He's got no emotional range at all. He's intense, and that's great when the character demands intensity, but he lacks the ability to emote anger, fear, concentration. He's just a fucking lost loser out there, and it's fucking embarrassing to watch him twirl around like a jackass without being able to put over whatever the fuck he was supposed to be feeling here. What was he supposed to sell after Six stole yet another title belt? Anger? Frustration? Who knows? I'm sure he's going to tell us what he's feeling in a promo where he gives his usual dry, shitty delivery. But as the old writer's adage goes, show, don't tell, show me you're pissed off with your face. You had a surgery on your neck. You didn't have a stroke. Jesus Christ, JR is able to emote more emotion on his face than you can. Was that too far? Was that too far?
All right,
I guess maybe it was. That golden voice bastard Lee Marshall calls in from the Jacksonville area where he's going to be promoting next week's Nitro. And he's going to give us the 1-800-COLLECT road report. To wrap things up, Lee tells us that yesterday in Florida was Ground Weasel Day. Puxatawny Bobby came out, saw his shadow, and so it's another 6 weeks of bad taste. These are great dad jokes. As a dad, I embrace the fact that these are hilariously cringeworthy dad jokes. The fact that Bobby hates them, kayfabe, is also fucking awesome. The fact that Tony and Mike giggle like children during them is also arguably awesome. There's nothing about this fucking promo that I would change. I hated it at first because it's a waste of Lee Marshall to just have him on this road report. But it's like the highlight of Nitro for me every week. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but like when the 1-800 Road Report comes on, we get that still image with fucking Lee Marshall's face and shit. I don't know. I get excited. How is he going to bury Bobby this week? I know he's going on there to fucking promote the live show next week because they got to sell a bunch of tickets, but I'm kind of okay with that in a way. I'm more okay with that than I am with the fucking NWO hawking. Gene ran promo with Sullivan, Jackie, Jimmy Hart, and Cholo Heisenberg. Gene intimates that Jackie and Kevin have been bumping uglies for the last 10 years behind woman's back. Kevin completely ignores this, by the way, and it was a hilarious throw-up piece, and it actually plays to the fact that Gene knows these little things that happen backstage, and it's like, it's not even a well-kept secret that Kevin would fuck people. Like, like girls. I'm not saying he's just nothing wrong with that. Anyways, it's not even a well-kept secret that Kevin fooled around on Nancy. It's not. That's why she came to the WCW in the first place, because he was caught yet again fucking someone else. So it's not even a well-kept secret in the industry. Never mind in fucking non-kayfabe town where we all live. Anyways, Hart thinks Jackie is a harlot, which Gene pretends that Jimmy just doesn't like girls. There's a little bit of subtle homophobia there for the win. Konnan gets the mic, plays up the stereotype really poorly. I mean, the fucking Barrio costume and the wrong fucking hat and the stupid fucking Cholo accent and like, Jesus fuck, like, Conan's already got a Mexican accent. He doesn't need to play it up even more. That'd be like me playing up an even whiter accent. Jesus fuck. Jackie gets on the stick. She claims that she's all natural and Deborah ain't, and she's more of a woman than woman, which was actually kind of clever. Kevin gets the stick and buries Flair, kayfabe style though. Nothing too personal going on here as it wraps things up. Diamond Dallas Page defeats, well, I shouldn't say it wraps it up, because Jackie gets one more thing in about the fucking belt, which she was supposed to get in, and Gene threw to her again so she could get it in, because later on something happens with her, which, good on Gene for actually reading the show rundown, unlike your fucking announcers, apparently. Diamond Dallas Page defeats the Renegade after this in 2 minutes, 3 seconds. I gave that one 3.5 out of 5. Today tells us that this is this version of the Diamond Cutter that DDP uses here for the win is the Diamond Death Cutter, which is a seated Diamond Cutter from the top rope, which actually kind of looked great. And Renegade did actually put it over really well. Now, see, I gave it 3.5 out of 5, but I didn't tell you that Renegade actually did a decent job. DDP actually did a very good job of making Renegade look like he can actually wrestle here. But that just should go without saying. It's a DDP match. Of course he made the other guy look good. Post-match, the Outsiders take up position on the ramp with their pipes waiting on DDP. Eventually, they get annoyed with the waiting and start walking down to the ring. Sting appears in the crowd. Macho appears on the other side of the arena in the crowd. DDP grabs a chair, and it is a standoff. No, I'm not saying it's a Mexican. Cholo Heisenberg's already been on this show. I'm not fucking calling it that. I don't care if you got a problem with that. Jesus. Eventually, everyone leaves while DDP remains in the ring going into the break. Back from break, Alex Wright defeats Super Calo in 6 minutes, 8 seconds. I gave that one 1.5 out of 5. Jesus Christ. It was just a botch fest from start to finish. Calo botches a leap onto the corner turnbuckle. Wright follows up with his offense after waiting for a couple seconds after watching Calo fall on the mat. The announce team did a fairly decent job of covering it up, but Jesus, tap dancing Christ. Alex Wright and Super Calo both suck in this fucking match. So much so that Tenay goes back to the Gaelic language bullshit that Sullivan and Bischoff are trying to sell for Piper being carted to the ambulance on the gurney a few weeks ago. And he tries to get Brain involved by throwing it to him. Brain refuses to say a word, and after a pregnant pause, Tony picks up on it because Bobby hates this whole stupid Gaelic gimmick and puts it over. Of course, Mike is going to do that when Kevin and Eric tell him to do it because this is his first big push as a commentator. Tony's going to do it because he's a company guy. But Bobby doesn't like some shit, and the shit that he doesn't like, he will absolutely fucking shit on. And the worst way that Bobby Heenan can shit on your shitty fucking booking is by not saying a word. At least if he buries it, you can go, see, I got a heel reaction out of Bobby Heenan. Or if he puts it over, see, I got a face reaction to Bobby Heenan. If he literally won't talk, what the fuck are you going to do? Kevin Sullivan and Eric Bischoff, what are you going to do? Fire him? It's Bobby fucking the Brain Heenan. Good luck. Heenan has some fun claiming that the kids from Dusseldorf, that's our little twink buddy Alex Wright, to make up for the fact that this was a clusterfuck of a match and he didn't want to be involved in the whole Gaelic shit, so he threw his own little deal in there, which actually was better than anything that fucking Tenay and fucking Shivani said in the entire goddamn match. After this, Konnan with Jimmy Hart defeats Chris Benoit with woman via disqualification in 4 minutes 15 seconds. Now, if you're paying attention at home, there have been a couple of pin victories. Right? There have been. But this is the second disqualification match of the night. Is this the second or is this the third? Yeah, this is the second disqualification match of the night. So, and listen, it's not going to be the last one either because the main event's a fucking count out, which is not technically a disqualification, I suppose, but it's another gimmick end. This match I gave 2.5 out of 5. Konnan is legit wearing hiking shoes now in the ring. So basically his I don't give a fuck, it has extended to what he's actually wearing in the ring. So not only is he wearing skater's elbow pads so that if he ever does actually throw an elbow, he legit hurts somebody. He is now wearing hard bottomed hiking shoes so that when he, in this match, gives Chris Benoit a fucking missile drop kick on the ground, puts both feet in Benoit's chest, that Benoit really has no choice but to fucking sell the shit out of it by landing in the corner. Konnan seems confused on how to sell somebody else's offense for a change as Benoit has to try to get him up onto the top ropes 3 fucking times. Benoit's offense lasts for about 10 seconds, which is about right for a Konnan match. Jackie comes out with the belt. Benoit tosses Konnan over the top rope, gets DQ'd, and then goes to the outside and takes the belt from her as she's threatening woman with it. Jackie spends about an hour looking for a new weapon underneath the ring and coming up short. So much so that the fucking director at ringside sends Jimmy and Konnan in there to escort her to the back. Now, she did have the wherewithal to fight it all the way to the back, but she's 32 at this point. So young and inexperienced are no fucking excuses. She's exposed WCW's ring on live television. And by exposed, I mean in a non-kayfabe way. It's constructed a little different than other rings are to have more bounce so that the bumps are less painful. Not painless, less painful. It's also built on a plywood platform so that the bumps echo. And it's lit under there so the microphone can be messed with easily by the fucking production staff. Like when all you find is a water bottle and then you throw it aside, now's the time to fucking leave. Just leave. You don't have to be wrestled to the back by Konnan grabbing your fucking fake titties, all right? It doesn't need to happen. Just fuck off. After this, the main event, Jeff Jarrett defeats Steve Mongo McMichael with Deborah McMichael acting as his manager-ish. Via countout in 2 minutes 19 seconds. I gave that one 3 out of 5. Deborah's selling that she doesn't want to be here reasonably well and does manage to look like she's supporting more one guy who's beating up her husband than actually supporting her husband. Mongo takes a decent bump over the top rope where Deborah holds him back. Rabbit ears. Until the ref finishes his 10 count in the fastest 10 count in wrestling history. I hate that I'm fucking coming around on Deborah as Jarrett's manager. I mean, it means I'm going to have to keep listening to her awful fucking shrill voice because I'm actually digging the performing going on in the ring area. Fuck. During the commercial break, we get a WCW Super Brawl 7 promo with fucking mad scientist. I guess this is fucking Kevin Sullivan's way of selling Super Brawl.
You will respect my authority.
After this, the main event is a promo. A Gene in-ring promo with Roddy Piper and his son Colt, who actually is, I don't even know, he's listed online as being an MMA fighter, yet he has no win-loss record. So, amateur MMA fighter? I don't know. He was in like some undercards with Piper when he was still alive, but honestly, I think at this point, he's probably, if he's still in it, he's probably just training, which there's nothing wrong with that. Piper turns down the offer from WCW to face Hogan at Super Brawl 7, so obviously Hogan and Eric come out to force the issue. Yes, Eric, the guy who's been claiming for months now that he's trying to save Piper from Hogan, will now try to force Piper into fighting Hogan. Again. So that this time he can legitimately lose. I mean, the booking here was all over the place. It's straight out of politics, so it smacks of believability, but only in so much as politics does. Then again, if you look at how ferociously people defend their politicians who would literally sell them for a pack of gum, this shit works, folks. I mean, it works. It's why people look down their noses at wrestling fans while simultaneously, without shame, putting over their political heroes as, anything other than workers. Anyways, back to this promo, which now that Hogan's here is just going to go over huge.
Hogan hour sucked.
Piper starts by backing away and breaking kayfabe slightly, calling Hogan Terry, which admittedly was a good spot. Hogan and Bischoff spend some time belittling Piper until he snaps when Gene narrates the whole fucking thing, which is actually, the whole thing was actually pretty good until Piper feeds Colt his line while Gene puts the mic in their faces a little bit too soon. He needed to be like a half a step behind, because Piper says, "Go get him, Dad," and then Colt says it. So hopefully, though, and spoiler alert, they'll fix it in editing as they build the Super Brawl, because otherwise it was a great ending of the show. Now, my fuck was Nitro a million times better than last week. Just night and day different. I guess everyone got their little naps in and pulled their heads out of their collective asses in order to start building to the next pay-per-view. There's a little bit of hindsight in 2020 moment here for us, but when you're in the lead, you don't let up, little rabbit. Vince is right there and almost ruined this whole ratings win run because you took your hand off the wheel, Eric. This is the closest the ratings have been in months. And I hope someone in that fucking asylum was at least biting their nails a little bit about it. Still, despite last week's calamities, this week was actually very good. A solid 3.5 out of 5 offering. Hopefully, they can keep this thing going into Super Brawl 7.
Well, that was an abortion of a show. Should the mood take you, check out markoutradio.com and leave a comment. You can also find links there to our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Stitcher channels. You can even leave a voicemail on our Skype. Just click the links and share them.